Hello and welcome to the C&S Show. I am your host, Cameron Sadeghi here. We have all NFL talk here. Thanksgiving Day games we're going to discuss. We also have some breaking news about Ed Reed we're going to tell you. But first, I want to get to the guy right next to my side here, Sam Rosen. Sam, what do you have to say to welcome the audience?
Just to welcome the audience, I'd like to say, welcome. Thank you for listening to this show. I'm very proud of you.
All right, Sam. Thank you very much. Okay, so I want to get to.
Attention, holiday shoppers! Attention.
Sorry about that. I want to get to the breaking news about Ed Reed, his suspension. It was supposed to be one game, but Ted Cottrell said no, it's fine. Ed Reed's only going to get fined $50,000. His suspension was going to occur due to his hits. He had 3 violations in this season, helmet-to-helmet hits against defenseless players, and he would, if he had got suspended in for the next game, he would have lost $423,000 in the game check. For him, fortunately for him, he appeals. He's fine, only fined $50,000. This is causing uproar everywhere. People are saying, "Oh, he should have been suspended. Oh, what's going to happen? What's going on here?" Sam, what do you think of this chaotic situation?
Well, I've always believed when it comes to suspensions and fines for these players, really that these suspensions really aren't necessary. I understand the fines, but let's face it, the NFL is a violent sport. Football is a violent sport where you're going to get hit in the head from time to time. Ed Reed is a throwback player who's going to hit you in the head repeatedly in the way James Harrison of the Steelers also will. Just of that older mold that's still present in the NFL where they're merciless headhunters. Ed Reed, obviously one of the most respected, most talented players in the secondary to ever play. So, truthfully, I don't think he should have been suspended. I agree with the fine. I think it's right that they should have to pay for what they've done. But to suspend a player for hitting someone in the head, which they obviously didn't mean to hurt the person, that's just not right to me.
I heard this also, too, on Around the Horn. Tony Kornheiser and Mike Wilbon made a point that if our offensive players putting themselves in a position where they become defenseless on purpose so that they could get the penalty, and eventually that defensive player will be suspended. Do you think offensive players are starting to do that and take advantage of this ruling and of this NFL premise here to be very successful in games and to gain an extra competitive advantage? Do you think receivers are trying to do that as well?
You know, I'll look at it this way. The NFL is such a fast game. The brand of football played in the NFL is such a fast, violent happening. I don't really think you can knowingly do that. You'd have to be a really special, talented person, much in the mold of a guy like Calvin Johnson, and I'm pretty sure he's not exactly going to ever shy away from contact. When these receivers get put in these situations, it's much more of a badly thrown ball that they make great plays on, or even a great thrown ball that they just happen to be in the way of a defender. I don't really think that is the case, but eventually you could see it start to evolve as coaches teach their players to have this happen. As of right now, though, I don't particularly think that's going on.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think, some people are a little bit overreacting on this. I think the NFL overall did a good job with this too. I'd agree. I think 1 game suspension would have been a little bit too harsh. I saw some of the hits, and I didn't think they were as bad as people were saying. I've seen way worse from defenseless, helmet-to-helmet collisions. So I was not really too fond of Ed Reed getting a 1-game suspension. But I have to commend the NFL for, really reevaluating the situation, allowing someone to appeal and defend themselves, and then really reconsidering what's going on. I really applaud that from the NFL's point. Usually the NFL wouldn't really do that, but now I think it's shown, and a lot of people have now gained the respect of the NFL front office. Um, I want to, before we move on and before we go to commercial break, I just want to tell you, you guys, the audience, can be very interactive on the program. You can tweet me at SM_Cameron, or if you have any NFL questions or anything you want to say, or you can comment on the comment board. There's a little comment, a little green bubble to the right side of your screen, and you can just go ahead and ask me anything, or ask Sam anything you want, or you can call 949-456-2911 to share your thoughts. Alright, we're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, we're going to break down the Thanksgiving games. Please wait 30 seconds. Alright, we are back from break here. Sorry for the delay, that was my bad. I have Sam Rosen right here on the C&S Show, and we have to discuss the Thanksgiving games. First, the morning game on CBS between the Houston Texans and the Detroit Lions. Very, well, not anticipated game, but still, despite both of their records, some people say, oh, Houston's going to win by a lot. Well, actually, Las Vegas doesn't think so. The Texans are only a 3-point favorite. So, pretty surprising there. Sam, I want to get your thoughts on the game. Not super anticipated, but a game that many will be noticing on Turkey Day.
You know, you look at these two teams who really haven't played each other very often. They last met in 2008, and the Texans won 28-21, but that game has no correlation to what's going on over Thanksgiving because, really, these are two completely different teams. The Lions have, in my opinion, underperformed this season. You know, Matthew Stafford has really not been as great as many thought he would be. He was thought of as probably a top 5 quarterback to start the season. Has really fallen out of that level of prestige. You know, this Lions defense, thought to be at the start of the season one of the top in the league, hasn't been as great. But against the Texans, a team who's really come on this season and been maybe the best in the NFL, I look for them to put in a great fight and really compete strongly. Then you look at this Texans team, though, and it's just flat out strong. It's a great, great defensive team led by, obviously, Wisconsin defensive end J.J. Watt, who may be the best at batting down passes I have ever seen in the NFL. Also incredible at getting after the quarterback. You have that passing game led by Matt Schaub. He stayed healthy this year, which has absolutely been great for this Texans team. Andre Johnson has really been great last week with his 14-catch, 273-yard, and a touchdown performance. One of the best I've seen in my lifetime. The running game is extremely strong. Arian Foster leads the way. Even Ben Tate, their backup, could be a very good NFL starter. You know, I look at this game on paper, and they're actually not as far off as you would think. The Lions, a very talented team, but have underperformed this season. But just because of how well the Texans have played this season, I would give the Texans, a 14, 21-point edge in this game.
Yeah, I totally agree. But, look, I don't think it's Matthew Stafford's fault here. I mean, let's be honest. His offensive line is sadly atrocious. I mean, the guy has been under duress, under pressure for this entire NFL season. And, yes, he's been underperforming, but I think it's mostly due to his offensive line. But, Sam, I think, yes, the talent's there. The Lions have a lot of talent. But the main idea is who's going to execute, who has the better discipline, and those two main things are all for Houston. Discipline, I don't like the Lions' discipline. They've shown they get a lot of penalties, they get way too emotionally high or emotionally too low as a whole collective group. And when it matters most on third down, they can't make the critical play. Houston can do all those things. Houston, I think, will cruise. Yes, they struggled against Jacksonville last week. I said it was because of, not knowing Chad Henne's tendencies last week because they didn't really prepare for him. So I kind of gave them a little gimme on that one. I'll give them a pass here. Say they're going to win. I think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. I'm going Houston Texans all the way, even on the road. All right, let's move on to, yes, one of the hottest rookies. Everyone is, clamoring for RG3. Everyone wants RG3 to do well against the NFC East foe, Dallas Cowboys, who almost lost to, yes, the Cleveland Browns. This game is going to be on Fox at 1 o'clock Pacific time. You can catch 1:30. I'm not completely sure. Sam, this game, very important for the shape out and the structure of the NFC East. Who do you think comes out on top in this one, and why?
The Washington Redskins and the Cowboys are both really puzzling teams in the NFL. The Cowboys are turning in one of their usual performances, sitting at 5-5, the 500 record, kind of a shaky team, a lot of talent, not a lot of production. The Redskins are another very interesting team. RG3 looks very, very good, but he doesn't have much help on offense, at least in the passing game. Alfred Morris has been a huge surprise at running back. Another one of Shanahan's just absolutely great finds for that team. Both defenses are a little sketchy at times. The Cowboys have great talent that's starting to get up there in years, and guys like Jay Ratliff. But anytime you have a guy like DeMarcus Ware in your team, you're going to perform. And if they can play defense on RG3 today, not today, obviously, on Thanksgiving, I really think this Cowboys team has the upper hand against RG3. RG3 obviously is a rookie, but he is accustomed to the big stage. I don't think that'll have an effect on him. But I say this will probably be around a 7-point game. Cowboys taking it a medium scoring game, probably both teams scoring in the 20s.
I think you hit it perfectly there. The only thing is, I think the Cowboys are going to struggle throughout, and I think this will be the turning. This will be the turning point for the Cowboys. I think this will be a game where they only win by 3 points. I think this will show and reveal the character of who the Cowboys are. They're going to really have to dig deep. I mean, especially in the fourth quarter of this one. I want to see, against the hardest team that they have left, how are they going to make plays, and how are they going to eliminate turnovers and miscues in the second half. That will be the true test of the Cowboys here. I think this game is so vital for the Cowboys. They have one of the easiest schedules left remaining here. They need a win out, in my opinion, to win the division. So here, I think this will be the game where they win and they finally get back on track. I'm picking Cowboys by 3. It's going to be very hard. I'm actually going to go for a shootout. I'm going to go 31-28. Romo gets it done. Romo drives down the Cowboys all the way down for a 35-yard field goal or something. If I'm right about the 35-yard field goal part, then that'd be super lucky. But I still think they're going to win 31-28. I think that it's going to be a very tight game. You would agree with that? I mean, it's not going to be a game where the Cowboys are going to blow them out. Only if the Redskins just lay an egg, or the Cowboys, completely dominate. And I don't think that's who the Cowboys are. Would you agree?
Oh, they're two teams that are middling teams in the NFL. Both teams are more talented than the records say. Both teams have not great, but they do have a chance for the playoffs. The Redskins would obviously